Electronic Arts promised that Battlefield 6 would be a handcrafted return to realism, but the storefront tells a different story. From dual-barreled rifles that don't exist to playlist art that looks out of place, the only in Battlefield moments have been replaced by only in AI. For over 2 decades, the Battlefield franchise was defined by its grit and human-made chaos. But as Battlefield 6 moves into the new year, the conversation has shifted from its massive scale to its marketplace. Despite DICE general manager pledge that players wouldn't see AI-generated content in the game, the recent Winter Offensive bundle has exposed a disturbing reality. Eagle-eyed fans have spotted glaring errors in the new paid cosmetics, weapon stickers featuring M4s with 2 barrels, ejection ports on both sides, and player cards showing soldiers with anatomically impossible limbs. These aren't just some minor glitches, they are raw, generative AI outputs copy-pasted directly into a premium product with zero quality control. As it is reported by Battlefield Bulletin over on X, Battlefield 6 is using AI-generated cosmetics despite DICE's VP's general manager Rebecca Kutas, who said all the way back in October that players wouldn't see anything made by generative AI within the game. She claimed the generative AI was used in preparatory stages to allow for more time and more space to be creative, but there isn't currently a way to incorporate it into the developer's daily work. And then we see the player card sticker Winter Warning featuring 2 barrels on the M4A1. Other cosmetics and descriptions have been made by generative AI within Battlefield 6 as well. I provided here an AI image of the actual playlist which is in the game, RPGs versus golf carts. I understand this is for Portal, but the developers had to approve of this AI generated image to actually be used in the main menu of the game, guys. It shows, in my humble opinion, a shocking lack of quality control and absolute laziness. I believe the whole Winter Offensive update should have been delayed until maybe next year, and they should have just taken a hit instead of giving us a broken update filled with AI slop as paid bundles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this bundle isn't free, it costs €10 for a bunch of AI stickers. It had me thinking, what else are they using AI for? Could it be that AI is responsible for many of the maps we have in the game as well? Many people argued with me back when I was streaming the release of Black Veil Fields at the beginning of Season 1 that the map looks to be AI generated. And I was telling my followers that isn't true because they claimed AI isn't being used in the game for anything other than for some prep work and maybe writing some scripts for the single player. You know, something that we all use AI for. But to see them now go back on their word completely really left me thinking, what else could they be using AI for? And Black Veil Fields perhaps comes into play as one of those maps where they definitely use some AI to finish up the map. Because in many people's opinion, it is the worst map and the lowest quality map in Battlefield 6. And it definitely felt rushed. Alright, let's talk about REDSEC. It has been reported by Ampere that Battlefield 6 REDSEC has had a so-called muted launch. Whereas the main game proved to be a strong performer, the number of Battlefield 6 players increased by just 3 million as a result of this free game mode. 3 million in my opinion is still definitely a pretty solid number, but we have to speak about Battlefield REDSEC as a whole. REDSEC is currently also a very hot topic within the Battlefield community. I also ran a poll a couple days ago over on my channel asking you guys, my community, did REDSEC harm Battlefield 6 multiplayer? 60% of you, the overwhelming majority, answered with yes, it did harm Battlefield 6 multiplayer, and then 27% of you said no, REDSEC is Battlefield, and 30% said kinda, and then explained in comments why they thought it harmed it and why they thought it didn't. In my opinion, the reality is that REDSEC just existing has harmed Battlefield 6 multiplayer from the inception when you think about it. The common excuse for people who really enjoy REDSEC is that it was developed by another studio and that means that it didn't harm Battlefield 6 multiplayer. But I digress, people who worked and still work on REDSEC have knowledge in the Frostbite engine because REDSEC is of course developed on the same engine as the multiplayer version of the game. Which means, for example, if REDSEC didn't exist, we would have 100 or 200 or however many developers are working on REDSEC working on the multiplayer version of the game. Perhaps they would need to be a little bit attuned into how everything works in multiplayer because obviously it is a drastically different game from REDSEC, but still having people who know the code, who know the engine, 200 of them, would make, for example, Winter Offensive a better update. It would make the Battlefield 6 vanilla maps also better. The quality control at least would have been better and we wouldn't have received the disastrous state of the Winter Offensive as we did on launch day if they had of course 200 more people working on it. REDSEC also impacted Battlefield 6 negatively in a couple of other ways if you ask me. Many of the assault rifles, even some carbines and SMGs, can reach up to 1000 muzzle velocity in the regular version of the game, which means when you put those guns on pretty small maps like let's say Siege of Cairo or Iberian Offensive, that results in hit scan weaponry, and the reason they are attuned to such high muzzle velocity is because of course REDSEC. The REDSEC map is pretty large and long in size, so they needed to have weapons which are kind of performing good on all ranges. Only in our case it has made the gameplay worse. I believe the reason we have 3 bullets to kill weapons like the TR7, SCW-10, M240L and many other weapons is also because of REDSEC. In my opinion, they wanted that if you find yourself in CQC battles within the battle royale, that you kill your opponents in very fast manner, even if they have armor on. But we in the vanilla version of the game don't have armor, so having 3 BTK weapons is also pretty disastrous in my opinion. Other people argue that REDSEC as well as the single player have better destruction than the multiplayer version of the game. They also claim that the REDSEC map is better than all the other maps within Battlefield 6, so you can understand the sentiment many of them have that REDSEC harmed Battlefield 6, and in my opinion it definitely did. So those are the negatives of REDSEC, but did it really bring in viewership? Did it really bring new eyes onto the game? Did it help sell Battlefield 6 with those 3 million players joining in, many reporting it to be a failure? Over on Twitch, the viewership of REDSEC is extremely low as well, with only 973 viewers as of the making of this video. So knowing what you know today, do you think REDSEC was really necessary for Battlefield 6, seeing as the base game outperformed REDSEC in every way when it comes down to the player numbers and even the retention to viewership? Did we really need to have REDSEC to help improve Battlefield 6? Please let me know down in the comment section. A leak has also emerged for possible skins that are coming in the Season 2 of Battlefield 6, but many of them also could be discontinued. Here they are on the screen right now. In my opinion, most of them look pretty grounded, I would say, except maybe the last one on the bottom right with that weird face mask that reminds me of Vigil from Rainbow Six Siege. If you played that game from Ubisoft, used to be a great game, it isn't anymore, but this is what it reminds me of. I will say though, for some reason, even though I usually like skins in some other games, I just really cannot get into the skins of Battlefield 6, not necessarily because they are bad skins, it's just the models of these soldiers just look bizarre to me. The way they look, the skins just kind of feel plastic and very static to them. I don't know, it just feels like they have zero life to them. How do you feel about the skins? Are you gonna buy some of them or are you passing on the skins? Generally, I'm just happy with the skins we have in the Battle Pass, the free one and the paid one. So this I'm gonna be skipping, especially if they are coming in those paid bundles for €10 included with the AI stickers. So I think I'm good. I'll take a pass on that. And that sums up the video today, guys, for Battlefield 6. If you did enjoy it, then please consider leaving a like and a subscription. For future content, help out a smaller creator who is covering Battlefield 6 exclusively. I didn't abandon you like all the other creators did as soon as our creators was out. I wish you a very good and successful week, and I'll see you guys in the next couple of days. This is Ace, signing out. Peace.